So good evening everyone and welcome to yet another Facebook Live. I'm doing at this point of time because I just landed from Coimbatore, so I didn't want to miss the routine of doing this Facebook Live which I was supposed to do today. So today's Facebook Live I'm going to talk about what happens when there is lack of leadership in small businesses and how it impacts those small businesses, and that's what is going to be today's topic of discussion. So make sure you take notes, and this is going to be an interesting Facebook Live. So let's get started. So what happens, especially any business, if it has to succeed and it has to go to the next level, leadership plays an important role. Only up to a certain point you can build your business on your own, your ability, your capacity. If you want to grow bigger, then you need team and you need leadership for that. They say that if you want to walk, for a small distance, you walk alone. But if you want to walk far, then you have to walk together. And that happens only when there is leadership. And many small businesses, if you look at it, why they don't grow, one of the reason, other than whatever I have spoken in my previous videos or Facebook Live, is lack of leadership. When there is lack of leadership, the business remains there, or over a period of time, it comes down. So today's topic, as I said, is what happens when there is lack of leadership in small businesses. So let's start. I have zeroed down to 10 things that can happen when there is lack of leadership. So number one reason is it leads to a lot of ambiguity. What do I mean? Well, there is no clear goals, direction. People don't know why they are coming in to office, why they are doing what they are doing. They are doing just for the sake of doing it. They are doing because they are getting salary. That's it. Nothing else. So there's absolutely no clarity. And in fact, there's no clarity even at the top level, at the owner level. And when that's missing, what happens? It percolates down. There's lack of clarity in terms of what are the expectations, and there is so much of ambiguity. What are the expectations they have from every stakeholder of the organization? Customer, their team members or employees, your suppliers or vendors, every other person. There's no clear expectations, and then there's no clarity on the roles and on the rewards. So lack of leadership leads to lack of clarity or no clarity on goals, expectations, roles and rewards. The number 2 point, what lack of leadership in small business does, which is I feel extremely critical, the second reason, is it creates a negative work culture. How lack of leadership creates negative work culture? Because over a period of time, when there is no leadership, you see an atmosphere where people are constantly criticizing, complaining or condemning each other. And most importantly, they do it openly. Blame game starts happening. A lot of conflict starts happening, and that creates a lot of communication gap. And this is absolutely not a great atmosphere to work together as team. And what happens? It leads to negative work culture, and over a period of time, people who are together starts moving away, and they prefer to work in isolation. And when people work in isolation or silos, you can't build great organization, because great organization are built on on winning teams, and winning teams are built on leadership. So that's number 2. It creates negative work culture. Number 3, lack of leadership leads to lack of commitment. When you stop encouraging the good work that is being happening, stop appreciating people, the morale of the people automatically goes down. People start to feel insecure. They don't know whether they are doing, is it right, is it wrong, is it even acknowledged? And when it is not acknowledged, a lot of insecurity. And that leads to a lot of misalignment or lack of alignment, because when there is no clarity at the top and people don't know what they are doing and they don't know whether their work is going to be appreciated or acknowledged, then there absolutely no alignment. And people start getting into a comfort zone. They know that whether we do it or not, anyways we are not going to be appreciated, anyways it's not going to be acknowledged. And that's where most entrepreneurs find their team in terms of having challenge in terms of the team showing that commitment level in the work. And that's what lack of leadership does, is lack of commitment level. The next reason is lack of commitment level leads to, over a period of time, lack of ownership and accountability. Slowly and steadily, people start feeling that they no longer are an integral part of the organization. They are not required. The only way an organization grows is when every person in the organization feels that they are a critical part of the organization. Their role is extremely important in the organization. And when that is not felt by them, and that's when slowly and steadily their belongingness in the organization comes down. And when the belongingness comes down, automatically the ownership and accountability comes down. So that's what lack of leadership does. And as this happens, it leads to the next repercussion of lack of leadership, is that organization starts to lose good talents. When the work is not appreciated, it is not acknowledged, when there is no development happening, and when people are uncertain about their future in the organization, that's when people leave. People always want to remain or be in a place where they feel that belongingness, where they feel that the work is appreciated and acknowledged, and where they feel that where they've been given the freedom to express and fail and again learn from it and further keep moving forward, and how fast they can grow. And when that stops happening, most organizations which lack leadership starts to lose good and great talent. Another thing what lack of leadership in business does is, over a period of time when all these things starts happening, owner dependency increases to the top. When people start leaving, people don't show interest, when there is lack of commitment, lack of ownership, everything is firefighting. There is a customer complaint happening, the owner has to go there. If there is something else happening, the owner has to be there. If someone is taken leave, the owner has to be there. I mean, the owner is constantly on firefighting mode, reactive mode, completely in desperation to solve problem, and that leads to a lot of stress. So lack of leadership increases owner dependency. So that's the next thing what it does. That leads to loss of opportunity. A loss of opportunity in terms of what? Adding new customers, expanding the businesses, building teams, developing leaders. And that's what lack of leadership does. You lose out on many opportunities. And lack of leadership leads to also, another reason, leads to no decision making. When leaders don't take decisions on top, on critical and most important aspect of the business, not taking a decision is also a decision, and that message goes loud and clear, and that's what impacts the overall performance of the organization, and that's when organization starts to crumble down. So it leads to lack or absolutely no decision making. Another thing what lack of leadership does, that it creates negative impact in the existing operation. When there is no when there's no ownership, when there's no accountability, people don't feel that belongingness, good people start to leave. What happens? Customer orders are not tracked. Customer orders are not delivered on time. Quality of work is not given. Think about it. Customer complaints keeps increasing. And most importantly, the performance of people comes down. So it creates a negative impact on the existing business. And finally, the last point, what lack of leadership does in small businesses is it brings lack of growth. When there is no environment, or when there is no positive environment, when there is no challenge, we cannot expect performance. Businesses can and people can thrive only in challenges, and the future of the business becomes a big question mark when there is lack of leadership. So these are the 10 reasons which I could think of what lack of leadership would do to small businesses. So if you feel there are any other reasons which could lack of leadership in a small business would lead to, please share that in the comments below. Would be more than happy to learn from you. And until then, this is Abhishek Siroya signing off, and I'll see you all very soon in my next Facebook Live. Until then, bye-bye.